Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Anything Broadcast. This episode is the
Resident Evil
episode. Basically, we're going to talk about Resident Evil games that we have been playing or experiencing lately, and that's pretty much it. Rowan, I guess I'll start because I actually played it. I've been playing it lately. We'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
With your experience, but I'll start.
Yeah.
So I started by playing RE5 because Ronnie from the podcast bought me a copy,
you mean
gifted me a
recently?
copy of the game. Yeah, recently.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was very confuzzled.
At least relatively recently. But he bought me a copy of the game, and we played through it together all the way, and actually had a huge blast. We had so much fun that we bought RE6 because it was like 90% off. And we played through that, expecting it to be trash, and actually had a lot of fun. And I was like, I had so much fun. Well, RE6, we played through 2 of the campaigns. We're almost done with the third one. So there's 3 main campaigns.
Halfway.
Basically, almost done. But I'm like, wow, this was so much fun. I want to play through RE4. So I bought RE4 like 90% off, and now I'm almost done with that.
Which you've played, what, 3 times now?
This
4
will be
times?
my like 3rd or 4th time playing through RE4.
Yeah.
I played it quite a number of times, and it's one of my all-time favorite games. Even though I haven't played through it that much, it's just one of the, it's one of those games where I play through it and I'm like, that was so good, I'm satisfied. And then I'll come back to it like a year. So actually, this time it was like 8 months later. I just came back to it, played it again. And I'm like, man, Resident Evil games are great. I can't wait to install Resident Evil 2 Remake and play that again.
Yeah.
So
And then I'm gonna buy 7 again.
exactly, I'm gonna buy 7 again, and I'm gonna play that. So basically, it all spiraled out of control, and now I'm playing all these Resident Evil games, and it was your idea, actually, to talk a little bit about Resident Evil on the podcast.
Well, it was my idea. I'm gonna be completely blunt here because we were trying to come up with ideas for like 4 weeks, and we have a couple actually really good ones that I'm super excited for. But we're kind of waiting for some stuff to happen first before we do those.
The pieces must fall into place.
Yeah. So, and then in the meantime, we've been watching a lot of Arnold movies, but we're like, we don't really want to talk about that. So instead, we're going to talk about Resident Evil, obviously. And oh my god, I love Resident Evil, and I haven't played a single one.
I was just gonna say that you are like in this. Rowan is in this weird spot where he's like, "Oh yeah, I love Resident Evil." I'm like, "What's your favorite game?" He's like, "I haven't played any of them."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What the fuck? How can you love Resident Evil if you haven't played them?" But I feel like because like if you have a brother, you will understand this. When you watch your brother play a game, it's like you're playing it at the same time.
Absolutely.
It's like this camaraderie experience. I feel like you can't really get other than like with a really good friend. Like it's really hard to describe. But that like experience of like sitting there in the same room and just talking while you're playing and stuff is its own thing.
Yeah. I mean, when I first got introduced to Resident Evil, I didn't even know what it was because we used to have a bunk bed, and oh my god, it was Resident Evil 4. You were playing Resident Evil 4
on the Wii, the best version, by the way. Literally the best version.
And you had gotten to the part. Is it a barn? I think it's a barn. And the giant not virus. What's the word I'm looking for? Bacteria?
Parasite.
Parasite. There we go. That was the word. The giant parasite comes out of the dude in the flaming barn or whatever the hell. And I was like, what the f*** is that? And that
By the way, you were like 5.
I was 5, so I had nightmares for days.
You were old. I think you were probably like 6 or 7.
Well, when did Resident Evil 4 come out?
2005.
Okay, yeah, and when did the Wii version come out?
Oh shit, I don't know. It was a while. You were.
It was a little bit afterwards, so I was probably like
RE4
6.
Wii version. Let's see.
I was probably 6 or 7. No, it came out in 2007, so 7 or 8. Huh.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so I had nightmares for days, and that stuck with me forever, and I never knew it was a Resident Evil game.
Yeah, and I remember playing that game, and I was like, this isn't that scary, except for like 2 parts.
Yeah.
And I remember being surprised by that, because I was like, I don't know, dude, I might be scared. I think I rented it.
Yes, that was the only part I saw, and it was at night, so... And that was pretty spooky, because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't expect
it's just the guy's body just like splits, and then like a centipede comes out. Like,
I was like, what the fuck?
What the fuck is happening?
So, and then years later, I want to say it started with 1. You got the remake, right?
Our remake, yeah.
Yeah, you got our remake, and I saw you play some of that.
Okay, because I don't really like that game, I'll be honest.
Yeah. I don't
some
know
say
if you
it
ever
is
beat it. Did you beat that?
No.
Okay,
some say it's the perfect Resident Evil game, and I understand why. Because it's like the flawless example of the classic formula. But I hate the gameplay.
You were almost a Jill sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The game itself, like, I don't hate the fixed camera angles even, or the tank controls. But the actual, like, shooting and dodging zombies is just boring to me. It's not fun.
Yeah. And then when the red zombies come in, you're like, I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't mind the Crimson Heads because I knew they were coming because I had played it a little bit before. Like, I don't even dislike that part, but it just makes it so you never want to shoot a zombie. Like, shooting zombies is literally pointless.
Yeah.
And even if you do shoot them, it's not fun. So I just didn't, it's just not my kind of game. But I get the appeal of that game.
Yeah.
I could see why people think it's the best one.
So I want to say the first time I ever was fully, truly introduced to Resident Evil was when 7 got its reveal.
Yeah.
And the demo came out.
Yes.
Did you make me play that? I don't remember.
No, we played it together. What happened is RE7 released the beginning hour demo.
Holy shit.
And it was like, okay, this is pretty cool. Me and my friends, we like horror games. We were playing it together. And we had a good time, but they kept updating it.
Yeah.
And I remember they updated it and they added the first molded to the game.
Yeah.
And holy shit, that scared the shit out of us, dude. We shit our pants when that happened. We're like, oh my god, what the fuck is happening?
It was a really good way to introduce Resident Evil back into the populace again, I think. It was a really cool demo.
I think so.
Really cool
and
demo.
It was really, really hype. There was a lot of hype around it. The trailers were great. But I was still like, I don't know if I would buy this game. I play it with my friends. We just buy one copy and we play it together. So we went to Sean's and I played it there. And I was so blown away by the insane quality of the game. Like, it was fun to play. It was super cool. Like, it was creepy. It was actually kind of scary because, in my opinion, Resident Evil up until 7 really was never scary to me.
I actually, moments, once I wasn't 8 anymore,
exactly.
I completely agree. I was never scared even once in really any of the games.
But RE7 actually has some parts where I'm like, this is actually scary. And on top of that, it's fun to play. The combat is great. The characters are amazing. I was so blown away. I literally drove home and bought the game on the way home. I was like, this game is so fucking good. I have to buy it. I have to play it for myself.
And that's when I got obsessed. I mean, when you meet Jack.
Yes.
That's when I was like,
that's one of the greatest intros
game,
ever.
I was like, this game is gold. And I watched you play through the entire thing.
Yeah,
and it was an awesome experience.
Yes, I think, like, the scene where Jack is like, you ain't getting away, and he's following you, and then he smashes the table, and he's like, now how am I going to replace this?
Yeah, and just the great, like, detail, like, if you get in the car without the key or whatever.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't think so! He takes the car, and he runs you over and shit, and then, you have the chainsaw fight, and it's like, holy shit, dude, finally we got him. He comes back later, and it's like, what the...
See, I would say that game was interesting to me because, like, I felt like the first part was scary, even though, like, Jack isn't he's like a menacing
Jack
figure.
is like funny almost.
Yeah, he's funny, but he's also kind of like
he's very menacing.
Like he's scary because it's like you don't know where he's gonna appear. Right?
Yes, and he appears in like weird places. Like
yes.
I'm like, okay, he blew his head off. We're safe for a while. Like 10 minutes later, he's like, oh, what do you think you're doing, boy? Get back here, son.
Yeah, so I found the first part of the game to be scary. Then I felt like the middle part, I was like, I'm in, you know, like we're good. Like it's not a little, it's spooky, sure, it's not scary
until Marguerite transforms.
Yes.
That was extremely cursed.
Oh
that
my
is the
God.
most cursed part of the game.
Well, I still gag at that. It's actually disgusting.
If you haven't seen it, look up the Marguerite. Actually, play the game for yourself.
Well, yeah, actually,
if you haven't played the game and you're listening to this, play RE7.
Coming from a person who is technically, well, okay, we'll talk about that later. I have played Resident Evil, but I've never finished one. For someone who's basically never played a Resident Evil game, I highly suggest you play Resident Evil 7 because it's an amazing game.
Yeah,
I can tell just by looking at it that it's super fun.
I feel like it's
and
explicitly
it's a great
made to appeal to new players.
Yeah, I actually did play it, but the problem was that I started playing it, but I had already seen everything. It wasn't long enough for me to be like, I don't remember what happens to really like get into it again.
The gameplay itself is fun enough to warrant multiple playthroughs, I think, but
that's
only if you're into that kind of game. Rowan is not a survival horror player.
No,
he's not into the whole
I'm barely
conserving
a shooter
ammo
player.
Shit. Yeah, I don't think so.
I like I like Doom, and
that's about it.
That's pretty much it. So
yeah, so it's not,
now
it's
you
not
guys
your
know
alley.
what my taste is. Now you're like, how the hell does this guy like Resident Evil? I don't know.
Well, it's just that good.
It is just that good.
Anyway,
yeah.
So RE7 was extremely good. If you haven't played it, you should go play it right now as soon as possible. The DLC is also really good.
Yeah.
But it's not necessary, you know, to enjoy the game.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so RE7 really got me back into RE, I would say, because RE Remake. I didn't really enjoy RE Remake that much, like I said before.
Yeah.
And so we were like, holy shit, this was awesome. We had a great time playing it.
Yeah.
And then Resident Evil 2 Remake got announced. And
holy shit.
That game might be the best survival horror game ever.
I think it is.
I think a lot
honestly.
of people would say that, and I'm not. It's not my favorite, probably, of the franchise, but looking at it like objectively as much as I can, I would say it's probably the best game in the franchise.
I would say just as basically I'm watching a movie, I'm watching Aiden play and stuff. I had the same level of enjoyment just watching 2 as I did with 7.
Yeah.
So I think that's 2 Remake, obviously, and that was an incredible experience, just as well.
Yeah, I think RE2 Remake might be the best survival horror game.
Claire's story is better.
Yeah, okay. Claire's story. I like Claire's. Claire's story, I think, is better executed, and I also think her weapons are a little bit more like weird, which makes it fun to play.
Yeah.
Because she has the grenade launcher with different ammo types. And
yeah.
Her pistol is kind of whack, but also good. Like later, like early in the game, it's kind of whack. It has less rounds.
Yeah.
But you get, and it's shitty reload. But you get the empowered frame, and then you can switch ammo types. And
yeah.
Her weapons are a bit less like generic shotgun pistol, like
but
Leon's. But the shotgun is extremely satisfying. And Leon's campaign is also equally. I mean, it's also great. I just think Claire's is a little better.
I think they're worth playing. The thing
it's worth playing
that,
all four. All four versions are worth playing, and it's definitely worth trying hardcore at least once. Even though that'll kick your ass because it's extremely fucked up and cheap.
But as someone who's just watching it, I just couldn't believe Leon and Ada's relationship that well.
Yeah, I mean,
I just couldn't really like get into it. Whereas I felt like Claire and her relationship with the little girl Sherry
very believable.
was more believable, and also just the chemistry. I don't know if it's just the acting or something, but the chemistry between Leon and Claire was great. So
yeah, it was really funnily awkward at times.
Yeah, so I just preferred...
what are you doing? You know, just surviving. Also, that game is also the birth of Chris memes.
Oh, we're gonna get into that later. I have a whole segment I want to talk about
Chris
just for Chris
posting
memes.
can wait. We'll wait till RE5 for that.
Yeah, we're getting there. Trust me. We're going through the newer stuff first.
It's like
that's
a
where we
perfect
started,
combination of. Yeah, I will admit, I'm kind of a zoomer when it comes to RE. I started with RE4 and I played the new games. So I'm sure there's someone out there right now who's just extremely angry at the idea of someone going, RE1 is not the best, RE2 is not the best. Fuck
also probably there's a whole host of people just cringing at my own personal Resident Evil experience. But hey, shut the fuck up. This is my show.
Get fun. Also, RE2 and RE3,
yes.
the original's not fun to play and not scary. They're good. I understand why they're good, but they're not scary, and the actual like combat, not fun.
Now, I think we should mention that, at least me, after 7, I got super obsessed with like the lore and stuff because it was just so ridiculous and awesome at the same time. Like, some of it is cool, most of it is dumb, and I love that. So I just like went through like every game. It just like poured over all the lore, and that I don't remember a single bit of it at all. I don't know what happened.
It's kind of like Metal Gear, dude.
It's like Metal Gear.
Very complicated, like random shit is always happening.
Actually, you know what? On the topic of Metal Gear, I'm not kidding. After Metal Gear 5, because yes, I started with Metal Gear 5. Shoot me. I actually went through the like 12 hours of cutscenes for like every game, and like
what is happening?
And watched it, but not just that, but like all of the important dialogue and stuff, and like I don't remember a single bit of it.
Yeah, because it's like filler. A lot of stuff.
It really was
going on. It's like I don't know. The lore in Resident Evil is very strange sometimes, but it's also very fun.
Yeah. And also after 7, I had mentioned that I had never seen 4 before, mostly had never seen it before, and you were like, "What?"
I'm like, "This is unacceptable."
And you were like, "This is unacceptable." So you went down to GameStop, picked up Resident Evil 4,
Resident Evil 4 on the spot,
and made me watch you play.
Well, I said you should play, and you refused.
I refused, yes, but I like to pretend you made me watch you play. I watched you play all the way through 4, and it was awesome.
Yes, RE4 is amazing.
That was the most fun. I've probably said that 8 times now, but this is the genuine time I'm actually going to say this. That was the most fun I'd ever had watching someone play a game, or just experiencing a game for the first time with someone. That was the most fun I had ever had, because that game is perfect. That game
is like genuinely amazing combination of like everything I like.
Yeah.
And the cheese. The cheese is so perfectly applied. There's such a fine layer of cheddar that has been then doused in like shitty nacho cheese. And it's like 2 layers. Like there's like the cheddar cheese, like finely grated aged cheddar cheese that's stuff like, you know, like he's driving and he's like in the car and he's like, I wonder if there's a villager up here. And this is pronunciation. It's like just cheesy, you know? It's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like 10 minutes later, he's like, where's everyone going?
Bingo!
I'm like, oh my god, dude, this is nacho. Like, is this like cheese product being applied?
This is one of those cheese hats.
Yeah, seriously, it's like a fucking cheese whiz being sprayed on the game. And
I love it.
And it's like, okay, can't get more cheese.
I see the president's daughter has been equipped with ballistics
too. And I'm like, oh my god, okay, this is crazy. And Ron and I are like, this is cheese.
No way, Leon.
And then it gets more extreme.
It gets
you enter
better.
The castle, and he enters the midget. The Spanish midget with like fucking colonial looking clothes walks in and he goes, Mr. Kennedy. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna die, dude. There's so much cheese, I'm gonna have a heart attack. There's like deep fried cheese. Like, holy fuck, dude, this is impossible. And he's like, I set my right hand after you. And
your right hand comes off.
I was like, dude, what the fuck is this game? This game is ridiculous. It's like the funniest fucking game I ever played. And we're just dying playing the game because it's super fun and intense combat. And then you get to a cutscene, and Ashley's like, no way, Leon. And he goes, way, and like pushes. I was like, what is this? Oh my god, it's like perfect.
It's literal perfection.
Cheese explosion.
Oh god.
And let's talk about Ashley for a second. Do you know who Ashley voice acts? You know him. I'll tell you what. Let's give the audience a short time. Right now in the comments, if you're not a pussy, you will type in who you think we're talking about. Ashley, the voice actor for Ashley voice acts a very popular character that you who are watching probably know. Guess right now.
Whoa, really?
Okay, Rowan, do you know who it is? Oh, you looked it up.
Is this true?
Yes, it's true.
Yeah, I thought you wanted me to look it up.
Oh no, it's true.
Oh, sorry.
Rowan?
Sandy?
Yes, Sandy Cheeks.
What the fuck?
Oh yes! Leon, help!
But
now
also,
you can hear it.
No. Actually, the one I actually still can't really hear that. You know what I can hear?
What?
Cindy Vortex from Jimmy Neutron.
Yes, she's the voice
They sound
actor.
exactly the same. Oh my god.
Yes, she's the voice actor for Cindy from Jimmy Neutron. Dude, that is actually
oh my god,
insane.
Sandy. I had what a weird turn of events.
Dude, yep. Leon,
That's
help!
incredible. That is incredible.
Anyway, so RE4 is an incredible experience. It's extremely fun.
She's
the action
5'6"? I thought she was shorter than that. Oh, sorry. Hold on.
the action is like fast paced. It's fun. It's intense. It's extremely cheesy and hilarious.
Yes.
So then we played RE5 like a while later, right? Because I was into RE. I played Resident Evil 2 Remake like 3 times all the way through. I played RE4, played RE7. Okay. I on and off, we goofed around a little bit probably with like RE2 Remake or some shit. I remember the Hunk and Tofu Cop.
Oh my god, that was amazing.
Those are crazy all modes. But you know, that's that. Then we switched.
Ronnie comes out. No, we could go over to Ronnie's house.
Yes.
And he bought Resident Evil 5 for PS4?
Yes. No, he brought it over to our house, actually.
I thought we were at his house. Or no, wait, was it? I think it was 2 times actually.
Pretty sure he brought it though.
Okay.
And he brought it and it has split screen. So Rowan and Ronnie decide, fuck it, let's play through Resident Evil 5. And you guys got pretty far. How far did you guys get?
We got all the way to like the oil field, I think.
That's pretty far.
Either right before or during. That's when we stopped. Yeah, that was the first time I had played a Resident Evil game for more than like an hour. And it was awesome. Oh my god, I had so much fun with that.
But then you didn't play it ever again.
Now, here's the thing. I had realized that I had so much fun, but I got spoiled with co-op, and I never wanted to play a Resident Evil game unless it had co-op, and I was playing with someone else.
So that ends
I know,
Resident Evil
weird.
career
Stop
ends
it.
there. Resident Evil career ended.
For now. In the timeline for now, yes.
Yeah.
We'll get to that
But
later.
it was a lot of fun watching you guys
fun.
play. Honestly, it was pretty funny.
The thing is that game was like less survival based feeling.
It's horror action.
Yeah. So that's why I was more receptive to playing it, because I don't like games where I have to really like hardcore manage my ammo and shit, because I get scared easily even if it's not a scary game. Like out of like 10 situations, like in 4 at the beginning of the game with the village, I probably just would have lost all of my ammo right there and would never have gotten past that. So
yeah, it's just not your kind of thing. But having a co-op partner helps, especially because Roddy's pretty good. He knew what to do. Yeah, like he had played the game before. But that was the end of that for a while. And Ronnie and I had talked for a long time. We should play RE5, but we never did. Yeah. Until just recently, at the latest summer sale, he bought it for me because it was like $3 or whatever. Yeah. And we played through it together, and I streamed the whole thing, and it was awesome.
Yes, I watched you guys play it.
I'm making a video about RE4 and RE5.
Oh, I was actually gonna bring that up at the end, but if you want to shill now, actually, I will say though that we don't shill our own stuff because that video will show up on this channel. So if you care,
I guess I'll kind of shill my stream. I have been streaming the games, so whatever. Don't watch. But I'm just, I've been
We'll
playing.
put
them,
a
basically.
link in the description. You can
Hey
get
guys,
15%
check out my stream.
off.
Type in this code.
You
Our
can
Aiden
get
is a
50
retard and get 10% off.
on your next Resident Evil purchase sale.
Yeah, gamer. Anyway.
Yeah.
That was
All right, cut that. Editor, cut that out.
Don't cut that out.
That.
Don't
cut it
cut
out.
anything. No cuts. Uncut. Anyway. But yeah, we played through the game. I streamed the whole thing. So basically, Rowan and Sean got to watch too.
And it was awesome.
That's why I mentioned the stream. And it was also awesome. It was a really fun experience. I'm going to say this. This is a hot take. This is spicy hot. If you are watching this and you're scared of hot takes or you're a Resident Evil purist, you better leave now. Because I think RE5 is the best co-op game ever made. That's right. I said it. I think Resident Evil 5 offers the single best co-op experience. And it is the most fun I've had with a co-op game ever. And I think the reason for that is because, one, the game is designed around it pretty well. Even though it was added late in development, supposedly, everyone says that. And I'm like, I don't really see it. Maybe it's true, but the game is designed very well around it with how much ammo you get, how much healing. The way, like, you split up and stuff like that. And also, the game is just so fun to play.
It is.
It's
very fun.
They took what made RE4 good and just, like, gameplay-wise, and cranked it to the next level.
They were like, let's screw. No one gets scared by zombies and shit anymore.
Yeah.
Let's just throw exploding shit everywhere. Well, okay, that's not entirely true. That's actually
that's
six.
the next game.
That's the next.
It's more
game
like, let's just let you uppercut zombies' heads off and fucking like double-handed smash them through buildings and shit. And let's also throw 900 enemies at you in the first 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah,
players will dig it.
The melee animations are so amazingly satisfying. I love them so much.
Yeah, it makes the game very satisfying.
Check out the Resident Evil video on this channel to find out more.
They won't be out yet, but probably by the time.
No, that's actually why we're doing this. Yeah, I'm chilling. No, I'm just kidding. But all right, let's talk about 6 now, because 5.
Hold on. One more thing.
Oh,
about 5.
you got one more thing? All right.
Yeah, we didn't talk about him.
Oh, you're right.
Wesker.
Mm.
It's me.
Chris.
So I don't know what that's supposed to be. It's not Wesker.
I know
me,
it's
Chris.
not. That's why it's great.
It's me, Chris. Wesker.
Chris.
I'm a god, Chris. Fear my godly power. Wesker is a hilarious villain. Dude. Complete
Yeah.
Global.
Well, see, my favorite line
Saturation.
from Wesker is in like the first game when he's like, "Isn't it beautiful?" and he's talking about Tyrant.
Yeah.
And then 5 seconds later, he gets impaled. By
Yeah,
it.
he gets killed by
He
Tyrant.
gets thrown across the room. It's like, what the fuck?
Wesker is really funny. Chris, all of humanity is just garbage. I will create evolution, Chris. Uroboros will be released into the atmosphere. Even Chris in the game goes, "What? You a comic book villain?" Like even Chris is like, "You're ridiculous." And Wesker, yes, I am a comic book villain, Chris. Yes, Chris, I'm a god. Chris.
You'll find me in the next Batman issue.
Yes, Chris, I'm a god, Chris. Yeah. So and then he obviously in RE5 the game ends with you fighting Wesker in a volcano. You punch a boulder into a river of lava.
Is that like the most like discussed scene in Resident Evil? I feel like it is.
Might be. That scene is like legendary. It's
Chris,
amazing.
Chris Boulder Puncher Redfield.
Chris shoulders the size of Boulder's Redfield.
I can't help but laugh at this.
And then it gave birth, of course. Obviously, that was the foundation. It didn't live yet, but that was the foundation of Chris posting.
Which we'll get there.
We'll get
after,
to that soon. After
Resident Evil 6. Oh yeah, let's just get this out of the way. We didn't play 3 remake because it's like 4 hours long. It's like an $80 game or whatever.
Yeah, it's like 3 hours long, and it's a full price game. And I'm like,
when it's on sale for like $5 in 10 years, that's when we'll play it.
I don't like the new Jill either.
You know, I don't actually like it either.
Going forward with Resident Evil games is to me a lot of the fun is in like it's like a Japanese version of what they think we think is cool.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the remake stuff is a bit more like what
they
Dude
think
Bros,
we actually
I guess, think is cool.
yeah,
Like, for instance, like an RE2 balances it pretty well. But
yeah,
like if you compare RE4, he'll be like, I don't know, like no thanks, bro, or like this is like an alien invasion and like wackiness, or Chris is like punching boulders and going like tactical. We need to fight Wesker, and Wesker, he's like, I will become a god.
yes.
RE3 remake instead, or like even RE1, Jill's sandwich and Master of Unlocking, and like that goofiness is actually really endearing.
Yeah.
The remake is like one of the first lines in the game is just Carlos goes, "Hey, fuckface." I'm like, that's not a good line. That's not cool. It's just like it's trying too hard.
Yeah.
And Jill is like this really like hardened badass girl, and I'm like, I mean, I don't know.
The thing is what I like about Resident Evil is you're right. Is it feels like like Japanese developers are doing what they think, like the Western, or like there's a lot of like, God, this is gonna sound so bad, but there's like a lot of Japanese isms.
No, there are. There are
a lot of game development isms that you see from Japanese developers in Resident Evil. It doesn't feel like a Western franchise, whereas 3 Remake, it kind of feels like, now this is not a diss on Western franchises or anything, but it kind of feels like a little bit of a lacking soul.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, they're moving away from that, and
especially some of the lines. Like some people love the lines, and I'm like, I hate. Like Jill at one point, I think she shoots like a Nemesis falls into the river.
Yeah.
She's like, bitch can't even swim. And I'm like, that was cringe. I thought that line was terrible.
Yeah.
But I looked it up and people were like, oh my god, I clapped. And I'm like, what?
Why?
I'm like, why? This is not good.
Yeah, I would, just pure entertainment value, I would prefer if we went 4, or 7, whereas I think the dialogue in 7 is really good.
Yeah, 7
it's serious a lot of the time.
7 is a good balance between the two.
Yeah, it's goofy with some goofy lines and stuff. A little bit of nice.
You ain't getting away.
Some nice cheese with a lot of serious dialogue, but it's like the gameplay is so bombastic with like Jack and stuff that it feels like Resident Evil 3 Remake. From when I saw it, does not really feel like Resident Evil all the way to me.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, the gameplay
it's a fine try.
Cool. The gameplay is fun.
Yes,
but it didn't really follow the original structure that well. It's like kind of a reimagining more than a strict remake.
Yeah,
and the characters to me are just kind of obnoxious in some instances.
I think it would have been better if they titled it Resident Evil 3 and get rid of the Nemesis subtitle and not call it a remake. Then I think I would. I mean, I wouldn't like it still, but I would be more okay with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have that much attachment to the original. Like I said,
no.
I think they're RE1, 2, and 3 are great games. I've played remake, but they're just not for me.
They're not for you.
And I like to meme and say they're trash, but they're not. They're very good.
All right,
I can totally see that.
6.
But I'm more about the gameplay. But yeah, RE3 remake, kind of disappointing. I'm slightly worried about like the few like RE4 is apparently getting remade. I don't. I mean, I could totally see Leon in the new game going like, "Fuck you, asshole!" Like, no, Leon should be saying like, "Where's everyone going, bingo?"
You know what they should do is they should just keep all of the dialogue and just that's it. Like,
or at least keep some of it. They gotta keep the cheese in to a degree.
I mean, like if you get rid of "Where's everybody going, bingo," then you've already lost because that is like the most famous line from that game. If you get rid of it, I think people will actually be at least a little upset, if not entirely.
I just think I want them to keep their identity. Don't try and chase trends.
Now,
and don't try and make your characters super badass.
I will say this though, I think Village does look like.
Yes, Village looks like really cool. Sorry, Ethan. We'll get to that at the end because that's the newest one.
Yeah, that to me looks like Resident Evil. It has a lot of that Resident Evil isms, I should say.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to 6.
6, yeah. So 6 is hated.
I've actually played that.
I think 6 is the most overhated game I've seen in
probably
a long
ever.
time. Possibly ever. It's very overhated.
I don't know what else is hated.
I'm not saying it's I'm not saying it's underrated. I won't say that because I understand why people hate it. It doesn't follow the franchise at all. It has some flaws. It's not a perfect game by any means. It has some flaws. some of the parts can be boring or a little lifeless feeling.
And of course, there's the typical complaint which we've already addressed.
It's not Resident Evil anymore.
It's not a survival horror. It's an action game.
It's an action game.
It's evolved, or not evolved. It's changed.
Yes, and I understand all of those complaints,
Mhm.
so I won't say
They
the
all
game
make
is
sense to me.
underrated, but it's overhated because one, I think people just need to get over that. It's not that anymore and judge it on its own merits. And on its own merits, it's actually a very fun action game.
It's super fun.
That honestly feels very unique now. Even though it was accused of chasing trends at the time, which I think it did. But the actual underlying gameplay
certainly
systems
the set piece trends, I would assume.
Yeah, it's you know, like the cover shooter trends.
Yeah,
and stuff. But it feels very fresh now. Sliding and diving and quick shotting a zombie and then stunning him for a melee attack and managing your melee and countering enemies
and Helena has a nice butt.
Helena has a nice butt, yes. But all of that stuff, like the way the melee systems work together, where you stun enemies with you could like stun an enemy with headshot, then look away, do a reverse kick in order to double stun him,
and
finish him
Leon
off
killed the
kick.
president.
Yeah, okay. The story is absolutely fucking crazy, absurd, and like makes no sense, which is like great.
Which is why I brought that up with no
it's like
context.
Perfect schlock. It's
yes,
like a
it really is.
good schlock.
It's a fantastic B movie, I think.
Yes, it's
RE4
is 80s cheese movies.
Yeah.
Resident Evil is like 90s cheese, like tactical movies.
Yeah.
RE6 is like a cheesy Michael Bay movie.
Yeah.
And
that's accurate.
I think all of those are very intentional. Again, I understand why people don't like it, but even like
totally
just playing
fun.
the Mercenaries mode is really cool.
It's super fun. Yeah.
It rewards skilled
I
players
really
very well. And although you could play optimally, like optimal play is probably focused around using grenades and then just meleeing at certain enemies, the game gives you a lot of potential expression. Like I said, you could slide into an enemy and like bump him, like spin around halfway through, tap him in the head, then get like a reverse execution melee attack into counter attack, and then switch to like a knife. And there's a lot of room to goof around and like have potential to do cool shit. And I think that the game doesn't teach you anything. It doesn't teach you about different kinds of stuns, how to get certain melees. It doesn't teach you how to counter. It teaches you nothing. So people just like I saw a lot of people say, even like I remember when it came out, reviewers would be like, why would I want to slide on the ground? I'll just get hit. Which if you know how to play the game, it's like that's so wrong on so many levels. But I can't fault them because the game does nothing to tell you what the point is, which is you can avoid enemy attacks, you can move while dodging, you can slide into enemies to stun them for executions. There's all kinds of reasons.
That kind of stuff reminds me of like Musou games specifically.
Yes, there's a lot of hidden shit.
And like I remember specifically in when the Legend of Zelda one came out, Hyrule Warriors, a lot of people are like, well, what the hell does the magic super even do? I thought it like doesn't seem to work because they thought it was an AoE. Well, it turns out it wasn't because the game doesn't tell you that.
Single target armor breaking move.
Yeah.
Based on killing bosses fast.
God, what is up with all these like developers like not
I mean,
telling us how to do this shit?
And some people even disagree and they're like, RE4 isn't a good action game. And I disagree with that. I think that the game reminds me more of Vanquish or Max Payne than it does Resident Evil.
Yeah.
But it's a very fun mix of those games that feels totally fresh and unique playing it. The problem is it has some level design flaws. Some of the levels are like, just long hallways, and some of the shootouts can get kind of feel a little lifeless, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people play Leon's campaign, and they're like, but Leon's is the best one, and Leon sucked. And the thing, because that, like, I don't know where that rumor sort of started, where a lot of people would say Leon's is the only good one. Leon's is the worst one. Chris and Jake are way wackier, and they lean into the nature of the game way more.
Well, like the first part of the Leon story is awful.
One of the worst introductions to a game
bad.
Ever. Again, I can't blame anyone for not liking it.
It's completely terrible.
But giving it a shot is actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then when I was watching you guys do... Shit, what was his name? The other one? He's
Chris?
the new... No, the other one.
Oh, no, Jake.
Jake. When I was watching you guys do Jake's story, I was like, now this is what I expected. You know, this was the cheesy, crazy shit I was expecting compared to the first part.
Yeah, driving motorcycles.
Story,
and shit. It's just wacky.
Yeah.
I think it's fun. I think it's a very overhated game, and if you take it for what it is and actually look into the game systems, it can be a lot of fun. Now, again, if you look up like optimal gameplay, a lot of it is like probably focused on grenades, if I had to guess, which is it takes a lot of skill. But the game, it's sort of like Devil May Cry. The game gives you a lot of like things you can goof around with, and I love those kind of games.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually ended up enjoying it way more than I thought, because Ronnie and I went in very pessimistically about RE6. And now we get to, because we talked about all the games we played so far, we get to RE8, the future of the franchise.
I'm excited
cautiously
and
optimistic.
scared at the same time.
I'm cautiously optimistic because
Mhm.
I love the idea of combining RE7 and 4. And that is everything we've heard points to that. And enemies are weirder, like wolf type enemies. There's like some black magic hallucination shit going on, like witches. It's in a village with a castle and the snow. All of that stuff to me sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I think purists will hate it, but guess what? Purists are obnoxious, and I hate them. So get fucked. I'm excited about the game quite a bit in that regard.
Yeah.
But the big thing I'm worried about is the story.
Yes. Well, I mean, the thing is that Resident Evil kind of threw the story out a long time ago, but with 7, they did a sort of soft reboot.
Yes.
And what they're doing with 8 is kind of crazy, it seems.
Kind of following up on that. The thing I'm worried about is Resident Evil has really iconic characters, and after seeing RE3 Remake, I'm worried about them messing up their characters or not really getting why people like them.
The thing is that I know a lot of people who are like, oh, I want my characters to, like, change and evolve. And
yes, I get that, but they have to evolve in a way that makes sense.
Yeah.
And keeps the original feeling of the character intact.
Yeah.
And I love what they're doing with Chris visually.
Yes.
And I think him shooting Mia at the end of the trailer is hilarious and really good. It really gets you interested in the game. But I'm also like, if there are rumors about evil Chris and like who kills Claire and crazy shit, and I'm like, that's going too far.
The thing is in my opinion,
now those aren't confirmed or anything. I mean,
yeah,
but it does make me worried.
Assuming that they are like kind of true, what makes me concerned about that is like I don't like when you have a video game franchise that kills off characters off screen or really for no point.
Yes.
I hate that shit. And especially for a franchise like Resident Evil, where these characters have so many possible stories. Like this is like The Walking Dead, where this is a franchise that's going to go on for literally forever and never have any solid conclusion, which is actually what I want. But killing off characters, I think, is a big mistake. So let's hope that's not true.
Or at least kill them off on screen in a way that
feels
like emotionally impactful.
Yeah,
the rumors are like Chris just
is dead
Claire
off screen,
and
Chris
is evil
too.
now, and he's just like fucking crazy. I'm like, I don't know, that doesn't really fit with Chris. But I thought when I saw the Jill stuff, I was like, this doesn't really like the Jill from RE5 or Revelations. This doesn't really remind me of her at all.
Yeah,
her going "fuck you, Nemesis, eat shit." I'm like, I don't know. And it sounds weird, but almost gives me a DMC thing where, like, I'm not a fan of the cursing. I don't mind some mild swearing. Or swearing that is appropriate. But it gave me Devil May Cry DMC vibes. He's like, fuck you! Fuck you!
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you! RE3 Remake kind of gave me that vibe. And I was like,
Yeah. Oh, God. If you want to talk about something that literally made me physically ill... I'm not even kidding. Like, I actually, when we watched, did you play it, or were we watching Ronnie play?
We were watching Ronnie play.
We were watching Ronnie play DMC. And I literally was watching it, and I had like this gross filter on it, and I started getting sick to my stomach. Like, literally. I don't know. Like
That is one of the ugliest putrid games ever made.
And then when she was like puking all over him, like the fuck you scene, I was like, I might like throw up. Like this is gross.
Like I'm a bit worried because I got that vibe kind of from Carlos and Jill in the new game with the whole like, hey fuckface, eat shit and die, bitch, like kind of dialogue, and I'm like, I don't know. It's not really Resident Evil to me. Resident Evil to me is like Way or Chris being like, we have to be tactical and infiltrate the enemy base, and Wesker, is I'm a god, Chris. So I'm a bit concerned about that.
The thing is that I feel like Resident Evil's kind of clean.
Yes, and RV2 and RE7 had more, but it was done in a way that balanced it and felt kind of fresh. Like
when Ethan is like literally falling out of the sky or whatever, and he says, "Fuck," like I'm not gonna be mad about that. That's what I would say. It
probably
actually like more explicit.
It felt more like in those games. It felt like the characters were like responding to something happening, whereas in RE3 Make, it's like one line. They like the one-liners are swearing.
And that's not good.
And that's like, it just feels a little try-hard.
Like
they're
they need to go
really
back
hard.
and watch some Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, because I don't think he ever
Stick
did
around.
that. Stick
No,
around.
he did one. Clone yourself. So you could go fuck yourself.
Oh, yeah, but that was like 2000s era. That wasn't his golden age.
But, I don't know. I just don't think it worked that well for me.
All right.
Anyway,
enough screwing around.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's time.
I'm sorry, Ethan.
I'm sorry, Ethan.
It's time for Chris posting. What is Chris posting, Rowan?
Chris posting is where they make memes about Chris wanting Leon and, well, now other character wanting them to fuck Claire.
To continue the Redfield bloodline.
Yes. And
why are you...
also boulder punching, too.
Why are we bringing this up?
Because a huge shout out to my new favorite YouTube channel, Chris Redfield. If you just type in capital C, you know how to spell Chris, space, capital R, Redfield, you're going to have hell of a time.
Please sub.
Please sub, because this guy is doing the Lord's work.
And don't repost his shit on Twitter and pretend you made it. Fuck you if you do that.
Oh yeah, fuck that asshole.
Give shout
Seriously.
out. I don't know if anyone does that, but if you do,
I actually did see someone do that.
Yeah, give
I
love
he got
to Chris.
Obliterated.
Give love to Chris Redfield. He makes amazing shit.
Yes.
And he wants to continue the bloodline.
Yes. But also another one. Hold on, I'm subbed to him too. Let me pull it up here. He's good too. He does other stuff that I think I know what
you're talking about.
That I have never watched. But he does do some Chris stuff. Detective Masterclass.
Yes. Okay.
He does the one where what's her name? It is Rebecca, right?
Yeah, Rebecca.
Yeah, and Chris walked in. And
yeah, using the movie footage. That guy makes very high quality content.
Leon is talking about, I don't know, he's drinking juice or whatever, and they're like, listen. Rebecca walks up to him and is like, listen, we really need you.
Your child will be a certified badass. I've done the research,
I've done
Leon.
The math.
Listen, both of those guys make great videos. They put in a lot of hard work. Give them some love.
Yes, and Chris
speaking
posting,
of hard work,
also Chris just posting. The memes in general.
Yeah, they're just very funny to me.
I think Chris Redfield is like the tippity top because he's doing music based stuff. He also does other things, which is Neil Druckmann video is amazing.
Yeah, which got shadow banned.
Shitting
on Last of Us, I guess. I don't know. Or not even shitting on the game.
No, because he's not shitting on the game. Well, okay, he kind of is a little bit, but Druckmann is a huge asshole, turns out, and so he was making fun of the guy. But mostly, his best stuff is the Chris posting, or the Resident Evil posting in general.
Yeah.
And it's great, and I pretty much watch it at least 4 times a day.
So
I think I'm half the views.
It's so funny because it works.
Yeah,
like, it works with Chris as a character.
Yeah,
like,
oddly enough, it does.
The Chris memes were actually born from the basis of the actual story, which is why it's so good.
Yeah.
So check those guys out. And speaking of hard work, I'm putting in hard work because I'm going to be uploading a video on some aspects of RE4 and 5 and what part of it, what makes it so good. And the video isn't intended to be like, oh, here's a secret insight that you didn't know. It's more just putting into words something I think a lot of people
That's just
who
giving
like the
you
games
respect,
like.
really.
It's just kind of like a little retrospective on what makes part of what makes the game so good. So look for that in the coming probably weeks. It might take
Months.
a while. My video editing software is awful. So
It crashes like every 5 seconds.
Yeah, it crashes like every 5 seconds, especially with game footage. So it makes it very hard to edit. But the video will come. Even if I have to outsource the editing, the video will be released.
Yeah.
So look for that. And that's pretty much it for Resident Evil.
Yeah.
We love the franchise. I'm like excited and worried about the future.
Yeah. And I guess we should just talk about what we have planned right now. What's coming down the pipeline. I just recently finished Ghost of Tsushima, and Aiden is currently playing it. So we're gonna be talking. We're gonna be talking about that in one of these at some point. I'm not gonna give away the theme surprise. It's not just gonna be that, but we are gonna be talking about Ghost. So look forward to that. And also we have a European themed, which is just an excuse for me to talk about my love of Metro and the TV show Dark. And we're gonna hopefully have a guest for that. Ooh, who's it gonna be?
Who's it gonna be? I'm not gonna say.
Even though you could probably guess. And then
anyway.
That's pretty much it, actually. So,
well, there's one more thing that we're gonna be talking about.
Oh yeah,
it's him.
Yes, I forgot about it actually.
Yeah, how you forget about our king? Our Kabuto king?
This isn't funny anymore.
Our minuscule monarch?
Shut the fuck up. Yes, I forgot. We promised to talk about Mori King.
We will. No, we're going to be talking about Mori King in the future.
No, we should just do it now.
But it's its own topic. All right, let's just talk about it basics.
Is it really?
We're at 51 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yeah, so basically Mori King is a stupid meme that Aiden started because
I didn't start it. I kind of started it.
You basically started it. Because Ronnie was like, what's the deal with Mori King?
Why are you guys always talking about why it's so good?
Yeah.
But it's just a very comfy and fun comedy gag manga.
It's funny. It's a lot of fun. There's actually a few. We'll be doing an entire episode, by the way, on just
manga,
like shonen. Probably just whatever you can get on.
But we promise to talk
free.
about it. We have a Discord called Mori King Chads that will be linked in the description. Please join. We are waiting for you guys.
Yes.
We post there literally all the time. So please join. I'm literally posting right now. I literally just posted. Please hurry and join them. We're desperate. We don't have enough subjects. Our minuscule monarch, our Kabuto king, he is waiting. Please join the Discord. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you later. Bye.